Okay. Black power to everybody in here. This is General Ghazi, July 24th, 2022, UBM 1. Okay. UBM. And this is what I'm trying to do today and moving forward. And what I've been trying to do: establish and organize the unification, enhancement, modification, and ratification of the modern paramilitary revolutionary Black militant armed forces, Black militia, Black army, ranks, code of conduct, rules of engagement, economics, financing, political education, restore honor and integrity and self-determination for Black people, while establishing universal law, pillars of governance, bylaws, constitution, policies, and protocol. And after this, hopefully we should be able to create a central committee to enforce this and govern this. Today, we're going to talk about Black August, and also later on throughout Black August, we'll be introducing the George Jackson Revolutionary Gun Club. So, Adam, I'd like for you to take it away from here, explain that, and then we're going to get into security, intelligence, and protocol. Adam, you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I hear you now.
Right on. Greetings, brothers and sisters. My name is Adam Bashir. I'm a member of the Black August Organizing Committee and National Coordinator for the Autonomous Infrastructure Mission. I've been engaged in this movement for over 40 years. Black August Memorial was started in 1978 in San Quentin State Prison by the Wallasey Gadish Mob political military party, also known as the Black Guerrilla Family. It was established to accommodate, commemorate, and create a new culture of resistance amongst our people, but for our new African fallen freedom fighters. Following the death of Comrade Jeffrey Gatari Galton, the Black Dragon, the purpose of Black August Memorial is to cultivate a culture of resistance within our people as a whole. Black August resistance is 365 days of protracted struggle. Black August Memorial is merely 31 days of commemoration to both reaffirm our commitment to the cause and to prepare yourself for the upcoming year, as well as to measure your progress and success in relation to advancing the revolution over the course of the last 365 days. The basic Black August Memorial program is dual purpose. It's designed to both prepare you psychologically and physically for the taxing toll of wage and struggle, as well as to prepare your mind and body for the deprivations that come with a protracted revolutionary struggle in this country. We fast from sun up to sundown. This is, now mind you, the BAM program can be modified according to the conditions on the ground the individuals participate. Remember, the purpose of BAM is to create transfer culture, moving our people away from the current identification with the fastest mass psychology of U.S. capitalism and moving them toward an embracement of African revolutionary nationalist culture. That's a liberation culture. That cultivation of a culture of resistance begins with the BAM program. BAM program is basic. We fast from sun up to sundown. We exercise at least once a day, every day. We cut that TV off when we pick up books, and we ensure that we study the science of struggle, history, intelligence, security. We train our minds and bodies to ensure that we can withstand the taxing conditions that will result from wage and struggle in the United States of America from the New African Collective. We have 7 Flee Days. Each Flee Day is designed to commemorate a specific fallen freedom fighter. On August 1st, we commemorate Jeffrey Gatari Galton, Black Dragon. On the 7th, we commemorate Jonathan Jackson. those comrades that fell with William Christmas, James McClain, excuse me. On the 13th, we commemorate Comrade W.L. Nolan, who was, for all intents and purposes, the progenitor for the movement from the prison perspective. On the 21st, we commemorate the Honorable Comrade George Lester Jackson. Throughout the year, the Black August Memorial Program is instituted through Black August Resistance. That means we prepare our communities for struggle. BAM and BAR programs are designed to ensure that our communities are prepared. That means our own sources of food. That means our capacity to develop our own institutions for self-defense. That means our capacity to stockpile necessary resources to wage struggle. That means reorientating and re-educating our people on what's necessary to be free. That means educating, orientating our people to the fact of what freedom is. You got to realize this. Our people have undergone a contra-positive authoritarian conditioning process over the course of hundreds of years. That the form of that process was different than most other people that have been subjected to U.S. fascism. Also through a process of naked brutality, shadow slavery, lynch law, counterintelligence program. I can go on and on. But it was a process of orientation through violence that has produced in our people a psychology of submission. That is what Black August Resistance is designed to reverse. Remember, to create a change in any adverse social phenomena, you must introduce its opposite. If we are suffering from disunity, we must introduce mechanisms for unity. If we are suffering from fear of the oppressor, we must introduce mechanisms for resistance, building that culture of not only resistance, but confidence in our capacity to resist our oppressor. Using the BAM and BAR programs as the basis to grow the movement is almost a no-brainer. Remember, BAM and BAR was produced by Osagaji Jamal Political Military Formation. It is a new African Revolutionary Nationalist formation. Its ideology guides both the application of Black August Memorial and the application of Black August Resistance. This ideology is liberation ideology. It's the transformation of a people who are a colonized nation within a nation to a people representing their own interests and seeking to defend those interests by whatever means necessary. Also having the capacity to do just that. Right now, capacity is primarily words. You have a lot of comrades, well-meaning, some of them not so well-meaning, actually believe that words translate into struggle. That is not true. Let me dissuade you of the notion. Revolution is not a game. Revolution is illegal. It's a crime. It's against the law. It's prohibited. It won't be allowed. Therefore, when we are talking about structuring our communities to introduce a new culture of resistance, a culture that will ultimately translate into progressive social change or revolution, we're talking about doing it in such a fashion that your adversary doesn't even know what's happening in front of them. This is why one of our leading principles, our leading primary values, is to remain clandestine, invisible but felt. That means something. When we are speaking about the establishment of Black August Memorial programs, these programs should produce in our people a degree of confidence in their capacity to do what's necessary. Grow your own food. Establish businesses in your community that are collectively owned, where you are actually employing people in your community who don't have a job. You produce self-defense classes, classes on education, particularly on our history and the science of struggle. Vast majority of our people do not know their history. The fact that they are ignorant of their history, that they don't know themselves. They don't know the process by which they got to the point they are today. We look at our communities, that didn't fall out the sky. Those contradictions that we exist under every day didn't just maturate over the course of 24 hours. That was a process. That was a process. That process has to have a counterpoint if it's going to be changed. That's the only way it's going to change. It's not going to change by hoping it away. It's not going to change by talking it away. It's only going to be changed through action, what you do on a day-to-day basis. This is why Black August Memorial programs are a part of Black August resistance, 365 days a year. When you get back to August, 1 year later, you should be able to look at those programs. Let's say, for the sake of saying, it's a program to ensure that our people can feed themselves. Then your community gardens should have moved from being community gardens to actual agricultural institutions in your community. You should have made that transition in the course of that 365 days. If you haven't, you got to assess why. Make modifications accordingly and move the struggle forward. This is what we mean by protracted struggle. And it's the primary purpose of cultivating Black August resistance programs. Now, because we got a limited amount of time, I think it's important, based on what the comrade asked, that we at least touch on the reason why Black August Memorial is important in the face of the counterintelligence program. If you look at the history of those fallen freedom fighters, such as Fred Hampton, how did he die? He died because they ran a counterintelligence program on him that was effective. It was effective because they didn't have the proper mechanisms in place at that time in history. The struggle had not yet matured from both a security standpoint, ideological standpoint, and intelligence standpoint. The reason why it's necessary to ensure that we actually focus on these areas of development is to preclude that from happening in the movement today. The most salient aspect of security, because we don't want to get any particular, is quality control. Quality control simply means every aspect of your activities are scrutinized and held up to the social policies of your particular organization or structure. That they are held up to the objectives that you seek with your daily activities. For example, information. There has to be quality control on information. Meaning you should know, if you're providing a piece of information, how are you going to get that information from point A to point B? Is that route secure? How are you going to ensure that the person on the other side of that information holds security protocols in terms of quality control the same way you do? Where is the end result of that information? What's the purpose of that information? Does this person need to know? These are all questions for quality control. The same thing exists on standards and procedures for recruitment. The movement can't be penetrated if there is some degree of quality control on who becomes a member or part of the movement. If there is none, if there is an open door policy, anybody can be introduced. There is no quality control. The process is not secure. And if it's not secure, I promise you, this enemy will exploit that lack of security. Quality control is perhaps the most important aspect of basic security that you can put on your formations, on your ideas, on your communications, and on your personnel. It's something that should be cultivated into a culture. It should be something that you do as a matter of course. It should become who you are. This is the reason why the cultivation of a culture amongst our people where they are actively in the process of resisting. Understand something. Current level of our development as a people is almost laughable. We won't win a war right now. Right now, they'll smash us. It wouldn't even be a fight. That's not because you don't have brothers and sisters willing to fight. That doesn't mean you don't have brothers and sisters that know how to fight. What that means is our people currently have a psychology by which they ain't finna fight, by and large. And I'm talking about as a mass. If you talk about revolution, you talking about a war for the minds of the masses. There is no revolution without the people. So if you're incapable of cultivating a culture that at minimum would do nothing against revolution, even if they wouldn't do nothing for revolution, you're gonna fail before you even start. Black August Memorial allows us to cultivate within each and every one of our communities a process by which our people will not only not stand against revolution, but will actively support it because it's supporting them. People will do what's in their interest. If you provide an interest for the people, and I don't mean from a mercenary standpoint, I mean from a cultural standpoint, where we are no longer dependent on systems of oppression, systems that have historically demoralized and dehumanized our people. Our people ain't blind. They see themselves being murdered every day. They see their communities being flooded with poison. They see it's a culture dominating their communities where you just look outside your front door and you see brothers and sisters gunning each other down in the street over little and nothing. Some of them even children. That's doing both the dying and the killing. That culture did not drop out of the sky. It's not going to stop until such time as there's a effective counterpoint. Black August Memorial and Black August Resistance provides that counterpoint. I'm gonna give y'all an example of what I'm talking about. One of my comrades, and some of y'all may know Abdul about Shakur, developed something called George Jackson University. When George Jackson University was first created, it was called University of Light. Very few people, even though that same curriculum, very few people signed on to it. But the moment he changed the name to George Jackson University, he had 10,000 enrollees almost overnight. I said that to say our people will support what's popular. If we can popularize the culture of Black August resistance, it will be a viable counterpoint to the thug criminal culture that currently dominates our community. Dudes will stop trying to call themselves Frank Nitty, and more brothers want to call themselves George Jackson. But if they don't know that these brothers and sisters, these fallen freedom fighters exist, if they don't understand why they sacrificed their lives for them, or even that they did, there's going to be no change. Black August Memorial is not Juneteenth. Black August Memorial is not Kwanzaa. Black August Memorial is a product of the ideology and organization that produced it. It is a liberation celebration. It is a vehicle to change the culture in our communities. We simply have to use it. Now, over the course of the last, I say 20 years, while those brothers and sisters who actually created Black August Memorial, they were locked away in solitary confinement. You had organizations and formations across the country seek to adopt Black August Memorial, and they warped it almost to the point where it's unrecognizable. This is why Black August Organizing Committee deemed it necessary over the course of the last 5 years to reclaim Black August Memorial so people could know the truth. The true origin of Black August Memorial lies in the California prison system with one organization, Boss Guy Jamal Political Military Party. Its expression is an expression of New African revolutionary nationalism and revolutionary scientific socialism. These are liberation ideologies. This is a culture of resistance. We had one comrade sent us something where you had a group trying to commemorate Barack Obama on the Black August Memorial. Something that's patently preposterous, ridiculous. We're not Americans. We're revolutionaries. We're trying to free new African people. That's our primary motive force. That is the primary motive force of Black August Memorial. When you have the proper program and the proper mechanisms in place over the course of that year, people will see a physical presence of Black August resistance in their communities on a day-to-day basis. A presence that they can participate in. A presence where they have an actual hand and interest in this, not only its maturation, but its expansion. As this proceeds, you will see a change in the people's attitudes. Remember, people's attitudes are reflective of their conditions. If we are successful in implementing BAM, BAR as it was intended, as it was originally designed, as its true purpose states, we will change the conditions in the communities of our people. And in so doing, we'll change their attitudes. That's ultimately the purpose. The purpose is to produce a new culture. A culture that is life-giving, life-sustaining, and life-defending. It's a culture I believe our people will support wholeheartedly once they know it exists, once they see its impact in their daily lives. We ain't talking about something that's, grandiose. We're talking about practical applications of daily programs that's going to meet the people's basic needs. Feed them. Ensure that they defend it. Ensure that we had the means to put clothes on our back and a roof over our heads. Programs that actually teach us our true history. That actually show us that we are more than what this culture and society seeks to diminish us. To let us know that there's even greater victories to be had if we follow this string of thought and ideology to its logical conclusion. This is within our power to do. Does anyone have any questions?
Any questions for anybody in here? Any questions? You can go ahead and proceed. Or unless Shaka Zulu, you got a question?
Black Power, no question.
Right on, right on. As Comrade Guys was explaining earlier in this Zoom call, I provided him with the full Black August Memorial program, and he's gonna be sharing that with you brothers and sisters. It was necessary to articulate these things to you all to ensure that y'all understand the importance of preserving the culture of Black August Memorial as it's actually intended, its true purpose. And the reason why this is so vitally important is continuity. There has to be a degree of continuity in our culture of resistance, where when the people look at it, they know what they're looking at, where it doesn't become unrecognizable to the people. This is vitally important. And the reason why it's vitally important is because our people are visual. Our people gonna move to what they can see, touch, taste, and feel, not ideas, not words. It has to be predicated upon action. Our people tired of hearing us talk. They want to see us do something. Black August Resistance provides us with a platform by which we can act in the service of the people in a tangible way. When people see you moving in their interest, when people see you building for them, with them, They're going to support you. Remember, in order to teach the people, you got to learn from the people. We can't force programs down their throat. They got to be based on that community's specific needs. And the conditions on the ground nationally are different in different regions. They're different city to city. So you being the brothers and sisters who have your boots on the ground, you'll know how to form Black August Memorial, Black August Resistance programs in such a way that they're tailored to that people. Because you're learning from them. In one community, number one contradiction may be gang violence. In another, it may be joblessness. In another, it'd be lack of affordable housing. Your Black August Resistance initiatives should meet those needs. Because where you're able to do so, you're gonna win the people. They're gonna follow. They're gonna support you. And in turn, they're gonna support the revolution. When we speak of revolution, what we're talking about is progressive social change. It is literally a war for the minds of the masses. If we can free their minds, their body gonna follow. Their social action gonna follow. Their deeds will follow. This is what transforms a society and creates new societies. And that's ultimately what we're trying to do. Ultimately, the revolution is a new society. In this instance, one guided by New African Revolutionary Nationalist principle. One is guided by equality, freedom, true justice. One that's based on unity and social cooperation. The one that we all envision. But it's not going to come into being by talking about it. It's only going to come into being by actually putting boots on the ground and doing the work. Black August Memorial is perhaps the single best vehicle we have to introduce these ideas to the people in such a way that they will both accept them and embrace them. Because it serves their interest. And ultimately, that's the function of a society. The function of a society is to serve the needs of the people. This is what we mean by we are servants of the people as revolutionaries. If we are functional in that understanding, if we truly are actively functional in that understanding, then our deeds on a day-to-day basis should reflect that. We should be able to look at the quantity of our service and the quality of our service and know that it's ultimately moving the culture of our people away from this culture of oppression and dependence to one of independence and self-sufficiency. This translates into self-determination. That self-determination ultimately translates into revolutionary social change, a new basis for social life. Black August Resistance will allow us the capacity to implement that new way of social life in concrete terms. Right there where the people's feet are in their communities. Understand, the point of origin for all oppression is the people and their social activity. That's the point of origin. That's the point of struggle. What they do on a day-to-day basis, what they do. Look around your community and ask yourself what your people do on a day-to-day basis. You right there, you see. Some of them standing on the corner selling dope. Some of them out there banking. Some of them out there going to school. Some of them out there being cops. Very, very few are actively seeking to ensure that our people can meet their own needs outside of this system. Most of our people do not think outside of the dominant culture. The dominant culture is fascist white supremacy in the United States of America. And most of our people can't see beyond it. They believe the system omnipotent. They can't win. The reason they have this false belief is because they do not see on the ground its opposite. Black August Memorial and Black August Resistance can create that opposite. And we can do so in such a fashion that is there every single day of the year. That's why the theme that was established for Black August Memorial is BAMBAR 365. 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week is Black August Resistance. Those brothers like Jonathan Jackson, James McClain, William Christmas, they ain't sacrificed their lives for us to stand idly by and let this oppressor win. When George sacrificed his life, he sacrificed his life for his comrades in there. He knew it wasn't no escape through a 20-foot brick wall. He knew what he was doing. These sacrifices were conscious. These brothers and sisters were aware they were giving their lives for our people. How can we do any less? Reason we commemorate these fallen freedom fighters is because they have set the example. They set the bar for us. We're not normal men and women. We're revolutionary. Our lives are not our own. Our lives belong to the people. If we understand that in a functional manner, embracing Black August Memorial and popularizing Black August Resistance is our duty. It's our responsibility. It's what we're supposed to do. At minimum. And we should actively seek, understand something. The degree of our success is going to be predicated upon our effort. If our effort is maximal, we will receive the maximum result. If our effort is minimum or minuscule, we will receive a minimum minuscule result. The example that was set for us is the maximum effort. They sacrificed their life to provide us a blueprint that we can build upon. We've done that. Now it's time to take that blueprint to the people. It's time to prove in social practice what is correct and what is incorrect. It's time to quit talking. It's time we start doing. We have within our hands the capacity to transform the nature and structure of our people's communities. And in so doing, the nature and structure of this society and ultimately the world. That begins with us. It begins with what we do and what we don't do. So if we look 10 years down the line, we are in the same set of social conditions that we are now. We to blame. It's our fault. When the revolution fails, it's the fault of the vanguard party. Us. We ain't got nobody to blame but ourselves. What I'm telling you is we have the vehicle to ensure that failure does not exist. We have the vehicle to ensure that 10 years down the line, we live in a much different world. But it's going to be based on what we do today. It's going to be based on how we do it today. These comrades in 1978 came together and developed Black August Memorial. And later on in 79 and 80, ultimately developed the Black August Organizing Committee, took it to its next evolution. They gave us the blueprint. All we have to do is pick it up and take it to its next logical conclusion. success. What we do right now will ensure its success. If we successful in creating a new culture in our communities and amongst our people, we will have transformed this planet. Right now, the vast majority of our people's resources go to making a whole bunch of capitalists rich. What if those resources was deferred toward liberation? Right now, people's intellectual prowess, their mental power, their knowledge goes to enrich a bunch of white corporations. What if it was bent toward developing our own technological infrastructure for our people? Right now, if they shut down the stores in our community, most of our people would starve. What if we instituted our own agricultural institutions across this country where we feed ourselves? We don't need these stores no more. We live in a much, much different world. The reason why there is and must be a resistance component is because when we build these institutions, those who have rewarded themselves and enriched themselves off exploiting and oppressing us will attack. They will have to be defended. You don't have the necessary structures in place to do that. We're gonna be right back where we were. Dependent, weak, vulnerable. Strength respects strength. Organizing ourselves to be strong is simply correct. It's logical. It's necessary. Black August Memorial, Black August Resistance provides us the means by which to be strong again. Our dedication and determination will determine the success or failure. What we do. It's my belief that you brothers and sisters are sincere. Your actions and deeds will determine how sincere. Just like my own. Understand something, our struggle is a collective struggle. Ain't no I and me, us and we. If we take that understanding to the people in a functional manner, they'll embrace it. If we're unable to, you don't have to do nothing but look out your front door and you'll see the result. What you see is the result of disunity. Above all else, Black August Memorial and Black August Resistance is about unifying Black folks. It's about bringing our people together. Together we strong. Divided we weak. It's that simple. Unity, strength. Division is weakness. We have a means to correct that contradiction in our hands right now. All we have to do is execute. Comrade Ghazi?
Yes, sir.
You got anything more to add, brother?
I mean, you pretty much nailed it on the coffin, brother. I just want to let your words marinate on these revolutionaries that we got in this group right now. They'll be shared amongst the others that couldn't make it. We do have a hand raised. We do have a hand raised right now. And I know you're short of time. How much time you got left, brother? Got a lot of hands raised.
About 3 minutes.
Woo! Oh, Malika,
but I'll try to cover as much as I can that time.
All right, I'm not gonna hold you up. I just want to thank you first of all, and then just that first part when you led in about what a revolutionary does. I'll just go back and look at it now because I was going to ask you to repeat it so I can write it down. But if guys is going to share it, I can go back and look at it. But it was awesome. Thank you.
Right on, sister.
Shaka Zulu, please make it quick, please, sir.
Yes, sir. Peace and power, everybody. Some of the things that you were saying, without the proper tools, how do we go about handling the people who are going to fight against what we're trying to do? Because we live in a time now where the people in the community don't give a shit about the community. So, when I got my boots on the ground, they don't give a fuck about a program. They don't give a shit about nothing. So how do you reach and clear the way of the bad apples?
Well, the most effective means by which you can do that is bring together those that got like minds. It's always been the understand something. The revolution has always been guided by a minority of our people. That's just the truth of it. I'm just gonna keep one with you. And the reason why is so many of our people have capitulated to the ideology of this system. But let's say for the sake of saying you got 1 or 2, 3 brothers, it's actually thinking the same way you think. Trust me, in your community is 1, 2, 3 brothers think the same way you do. Instead of talking about what you want to do it. Y'all go out there, find a piece of vacant lot, dirt track, something that ain't doing nothing in the community, and you turn it into something that produces food. Give it away free. And invite people to come participate in expanding. When they putting that food in their mouth that they didn't have to come out their pocket to go to the grocery store and buy, guess what? They're going to listen to you. Your words going to have a whole new weight to them. Because it's not just words no more. Now it's being digested in their stomach. When you done structured that program, that you community action program, for example, you got 5 or 6 or 7 young brothers and sisters who already look up to you. They already seeing you, what you're doing, boots on the ground in the hood. They see what you're doing. Damn, I want to be like the big homie Shaka. When you take them 5 or 6 brothers and you deferring them from hanging out with the homies and going to ride and bang, and they mama see that, and they mama see that they coming home new young brothers and sisters, they gonna support you. Why? Because it's a tangible interest for her to support you. When that young gang banging thugged out brother on the block, when you trying to give, they don't care nothing about what you're talking about, see that program that you implemented, the Closed Circuit Economic Initiative, is providing his mama a check where she can take care of his little sister. Guess what? He gonna support and defend that. You ain't come directly at him. You came at his mama, at his little sister. You did something to look out for them. That's what he loved. He loved him, regardless of what he claimed, regardless of what he buying. He gonna support that. He gonna defend that because it's looking out for his country.
Like power.
Right on. That makes sense, comrade?
Yeah, that make a lot of sense.